Sometimes when I'm sewing, I like to use clear heavyweight vinyl to make pockets. I'll use it in bags so that I can see what's in them, or like on the name tag bag, that's what I want to put on that little front pocket so that I can put my name tag in here and you'll be able to read it. The trick to sewing on vinyl is that you need to put something between it and your bed of your machine so that it doesn't have a lot of static buildup and that keeps it from moving. Your vinyl will usually come with a piece of tissue paper underneath it, which makes it easy to see where the edges of it are, and I just leave that piece of tissue there, but I scoot it over about 1/4 of an inch so I'm not catching it in my seam, and I put that in. Now, I don't have to have a special foot for sewing the binding on because I'm not sewing with the vinyl against my foot of my machine. But if you're sewing with your vinyl right against your foot of your machine, it's helpful to either use a metal foot or a Teflon foot, and I'll show you more of those when we get to that step. I'm going to take my binding and pin it every few inches to hold it together. Again, I don't like to press because I don't like to press those seams in. And then I'm going to take my binding and align it with the edge of my vinyl, and I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch foot, 1/4 inch seam using a 1/4 inch foot. Because I had the tissue paper under there, it slid very easily against my machine. After I get that side sewn on, then I'm just going to turn my binding to the front. I usually leave my tissue paper there just to let it rest against it, but it's not really necessary at this point. Actually, let's just get rid of it. And again, my stiletto helps me pull my binding over and get it right where I want. And now I'm just going to sew right along that fold edge of my binding, pulling it over so that it covers my stitching underneath. And I'll attach my binding to the upper part of that pocket. Now when it comes time to attach this pocket to the front of my name tag, I am going to be sewing with my foot right against the vinyl. So in that case, I can do it with my metal foot, but I especially like to use my Teflon foot. This is a straight stitch foot that's put out by Bernina. It's got a Teflon coating over the whole foot, so it slides really easy on top of that vinyl and doesn't make it move. The other thing I love about this foot is it's a 1/4 inch on that side, but on this side it's only an 1/8 inch. And I like to sew these things on with an 1/8 inch seam so that when I sew my binding on later using a 1/4 inch seam, I don't have that stitch showing through there. So I'm going to put my Teflon foot on to sew this one in place. Now, when it comes time to put your vinyl pocket on there, you could pin it, and pins are going to probably leave holes that don't heal themselves in the vinyl. So what I like to use better than pins are binder clips. These are little 3/4 inch binder clips. You'll buy them at the office supply store, or I have them on my website, and you can just take these and pin your pieces together. This is also really helpful. I'll show you in future steps when we have several layers. It's hard sometimes to get needles or pins through all those. I can just pin these on, a couple on each side, a couple on the bottom, and I've got everything held in place and it's ready to stitch down. So now I've got my Teflon foot on, got my piece pinned in place, and I'm just going to stitch down the edge of this 1/4 of an inch from the edge to join my two pieces. Use my stiletto to move that thread up there. And Again, a Teflon foot is not a necessity, but it sure makes life easier if you've got one. And I'm done. My pocket is attached to the front of my bag and it's ready to go.